Welcome, this is Soldier and Mayhem for Dark Empire Television, and welcome everyone. And we got a little lot to go over today. I just got through talking to the CM about the tournament prize. There's a little bit of a question. I'm going to be going over that, but first of all, I'm going to be going over the update, today's update, which wasn't a lot, just mostly dealing with the Forsaken tournament that's coming up this week. So let me jumping right into that. And there's actually one piece of the update that I actually was really happy to see that they added today. They classified it as fixes and tuning. They call it a fix instead of bug fixes. They just called it a tuning, I guess. All right, I'm gonna jump right into it. On the release notes here, just reading from the notes, said mostly everything was just as far as update was a tournament, which didn't say that. Then they called it a reap. Time has been added to defeated cargo fleets, which means any cargo that has been defeated and the resources has not been collected on the map for 6 hours will have an elapsed time of 6 hours, which means after 6 hours, if they'll go pop. Like have a timer on them and they'll just disappear. But the only thing is, though, if there's cargoes in the sector that's been defeated, they're going to remain because they don't have that timer installed on them just yet. So all the cargo that's previously been there before it's open and left out, those will have to be collected and cleaned up by people in each sector to actually get where they'll actually spawn in 6 hours. Which I was reading on the forums here. A lot of people are saying 6 hours is too long. I do kind of agree with them for a 6 hour time limit. It's probably a little bit long. I'll probably say a couple hours max. I mean, because that way, if you got some little guys in your sector and you're opening cargo for them, they cannot carry a lot of cargo because they have the real small holes. So, I mean, they have to make quite a few trips, and it takes them quite a while. And sometimes if they're, doing a cargo, say they're doing research that takes, 20 minutes, they're going to need quite a bit of time to go back and forth. They only got, say, like a level 5 warehouse. They're going to need half a dozen trips to do research every 20 minutes, and other players can't really be, constantly open cargo for them if they don't have the bigger enough fleet to actually open cargo. That's my only thing I see about this. So I think it still needs to be somewhere around 2 to 3 hours. The 6 hours, I would say, is probably just a hair long. But I mean, I just look at it, for the little guy, they still needed quite a few, because of the way they can still make quite a bit of trips. Us bigger guys don't have to go opening cargoes for them all the time. All right, and I mean this has been a long issue for his ranking, because a lot of players don't like to clean up their messes after. I mean, I'm really bad about it, guilty of this myself, so don't go. I'm guilty of myself of this. But, just go out with my subs and just start opening pretty much any cargo around 50 I see, and 51s I see, and up, and don't pick them up and just make a big mess. And usually the neighbors get ticked off at you. Oh, you leaving cargo around? But this, I think, could be the answer if they get this time down to, say, right around the 3 hour range. But this could be a really big thing and positive thing for the game, because I like this. All right, then it says there's been some kind of badge added, another tramp badge. All right, let's see. A cap. Oh, this is for the Reaper subs. A cap for the cloaking effect has been put into place for players' bases issued with a high-level Reaper being undetectable in base attacks, which this will be awesome, because I mean, a lot of players use Reapers to prep, and you could not actually see these guys. Time. Let's see. Hang on one second here, guys. I just got a message from CM here on Kickside. Let's see. He's actually talking about the fleet cargo. He said they're actually thinking about reducing the time instead of 6 hours to 1 hour instead of 6. Let me type back here. I've been talking to him a little bit today about the tournament prizes, and he's still on here asking me. Crap! I hate when I can't. I'm just basically telling him what I think. He's asking my opinion. I'm telling him that I think the time should be right around 2 to 3 hours. Let's see here. Crap. All right, sorry about that, everyone. All right, now moving on. Let's see. Okay, I've been talking about the cloak effect. Kick size added to Reaper size, which the cap they've added, basically their fix was on it just for anytime you attack a base. There's actually a 75% cloak effect. Is actually 75 cap will be established to the cloak effect. This cloak effect will not affect any other. The cloak effect will not affect it in any other way, but only when you hit another player's base. So, if you're doing fleet versus fleet targets, the cap will not apply. Fleet versus fleet, he says PVE targets, any other kind of targets, they will not apply. Which, I don't see a lot of. The only thing I really see that a lot of people actually use Reapers for is actually bases. I mean, as a prep fleet, and I don't see a whole lot of people actually use them for anything else nowadays. I mean, pretty much the main subfleet nowadays is Nighthawks. Just your main sub choice. Nighthawks and Spectres. And Spectres, it's kind of old school nowadays, but I mean, with the R10s coming around, they could be actually a pretty good little fleet coming out around one of these days. Whenever Kickside decides to actually release them. All right, next up, everyone, is going to be what our main topic of the day is, the new Forsaken Arena tournament. Pretty much, it's going to be basically like last time, except there's going to be a few minor changes, the structure is going to be the same. The main structure is going to be the same. You're going to get points by actually how much damage you do to your opponent. All right, but they've actually added, whereas smaller players on just the normal bracket, if you went up to 250 wins, you could actually open a thing where you can actually win the main prize, which we'll get into here in a second. And it's actually, doesn't matter which bracket you're on, you can actually win the prize. All right. And if you're even in the normal brackets, you'll open a special ability where you can actually a window where you can actually win. If you win 5 total matches, you'll win 1,000 uranium. If you win 50, you'll win 50 matches in the arena. You get a Grease Monkey Road Crew. Just to recap, the Grease Monkey Road Crew is actually half repair time. So if these guys are Grease Monkeys, if you can get your hands on these guys, they are all awesome to actually use during raids because you already have half repair time. Then if you stack that half repair time on top of it, you're getting basically you're gonna getting almost double half repair times. So stack. So you can actually get by a whole lot cheaper on one of your main fleets. Just put that crew. Say if you using like a Hellhound fleet, it's still with a raid half repair time. I think it's like almost half a day build. So you're actually saving quite a bit of coin. You're saving quite a bit of coin. I don't know the exact numbers on it. I don't have a Hellhound fleet, so I don't know the exact numbers. But if you whatever, doesn't really matter whatever fleet you use for raids. If you stack that, put the Grease Monkey, and it'll save you a ton of coins. All right, next up is going to be the main prize. You can actually win the main prize, which is the new hull. This is actually, let me see. How do they print it? The Monarch. You can actually win the Monarch, which is actually has technical field ability, which means you can actually put a technical field on it and it'll reduce its weight. We'll get into more of that here in a second. But first of all, I also want to mention if you're in a normal bracket, you can actually win the Hurricane, which is kind of like the Monarch's little baby brother, I'll say. That's what I could think of it as his little baby brother. All right, which Hurricane's a pretty good little drone hull. If you run a lot of drones, you can actually use it for drones. Or I really don't. Or even if you got a Stingray fleet and you want to run an engine disruptor with it, this is actually a good candidate. If you can actually get a hold of this guy, because I run just a regular arbiter with mine, but this is actually update it pretty good. But you can actually nowadays don't really need the Hurricanes anymore for that, but they're just still a good drone hull basically. So, all right, they still got a few other uses, but not a lot of high-end players use them nowadays. Then also you can actually win road crews, normal road crews, advanced road crews. Then your common road crews depends on what bracket you place in, what number you place in. All right, I want to talk about the Monarch, the top prize. All right, hang on. Let me get my screen share up here, and I'll post a picture. I've got a photo of it here. All right, here we go. Everyone. All right, the Monarch, this looks like a sweet little hull. And I was talking to the CM about it, and he said that this is not a flagship. He said this is not a flagship. This is actually just a normal hull. This is actually a normal hull. You can actually have more than one in a fleet. This is not a flagship. So you can actually, if it depends on, I don't know how many you're actually able to get in a fleet because of weight, because of technical fields on these guys are going to weigh a ton. So more than likely you will not be able to get maybe two at max, with maybe one or the other two hulls. Just depends on what you're running and your weight. Something that's you'd have to play around with in the shipyard to actually see what you can do with it. All right, see what you can actually do with it. All right, now let's get back to the hull and start discussing some of the abilities of this guy. All right, now this guy has actually got 3,980 armor points, which the max weight is 15 tons, which is pretty good weight. He's got 10 weapon slots, 5 armor slots, and 3 special spots. And the cargo is over 1 million, which, cargo in these hulls like this really, don't matter. The only downfall I see of this is just the evade is set at 0. So far, really the evade is set at 0. You're probably going to have to put a ton of evade on this guy. Alright, let's see. Combat speed, max speed is going to be 27. Combat speed's 13. Alright, your ballistic defense is 30. Explosion defense is 10. But this 10. Your missiles 40. Radiation is 30. Alright, then it says there's a special ability on this. It says technical modification weight is reduced by 70%. So it makes whatever technical field, say you put P drones on this guy, that whatever, say it weighs 20 tons, it's actually going to knock that down by 70%. Whatever the difference is. I'm not a big math guy, and math usually hurts my head, so I'm not going to pretend to do the math. But it would knock it down 70%. All right, then it gives you, when you place UAVs on it, it gives it, any UAV gives it 40% more damage. Then also, just like it's the other hull they released last month in the arena, the Warbird, it has underwater weapons where it has several underwater slots. You can actually place torpedoes on this guy, which I have yet to actually see, someone actually place torpedoes on one of these holes yet, which would make it very actually interesting to actually see what this would actually do. You place several UAVs and then torpedoes on this guy. It would be very interesting to actually see what this hull would actually do in an arena or pretty much even an event. Would actually be pretty interesting to see what the capabilities of this guy would be. And I was talking to CM, and it was actually, we were discussing P drones on this, and he's saying they haven't tested P drones on this. But I was, it should be pretty awesome if you guys should get a couple of these guys with drones, P drones. Then you put the new UAV, the Locust, on this guy. Then you actually have several torpedoes on this guy, and pretty much anything to get close to this would pretty much be dead. And be a pretty badass little fleet to actually have if you get a couple of these guys. But yeah, it's going to be, I think it'd be, if you build it right and put the right armor on it and get some of these stats up a little bit, you have a pretty good little fleet out of this. And even if you can just get your hands on one of these guys and have it in a fleet, I think it would serve you very, very well to actually take your game up to a whole different level. And this is actually the first hull they've actually introduced in a long time that actually has had the technical field abilities actually put on it. And not to mention, they've actually took it where you can actually put UAVs and not to mention underwater weapons on it. It's the first kind of he called it like a multiple use hull and all around the hull, which very possibilities are endless with this because you can actually do quite a bit with this. And it should be one of those hulls that anybody could set up a ton of different ways, and there's going to be probably a lot of uses for this guy. All right, see, that's pretty much. Let's see, get back over here to my notes on the tournament. All right, now then on the Monarch, if you win, if you place the top 10 winners, you can actually get 3 of these guys. All right, then if you run runners up from 11 to 25, you'll get 2. Then if you're 25 to 65, you'll get 1. Then anything under 66 to 125 placement, you'll get the Hurricane. All right, if you're 126, you get a random advanced crew. 126 to 250. Then if you actually win 250 matches, you can actually unlock that special thing they actually added this time. You can actually unlock the Monarch anyway if you win 200 matches. Which I like that. I actually like that feature. It doesn't matter. It's still rewarding a good player. Doesn't matter, if you spend a ton of uranium or you spend a lot of time or coin, you don't have to actually rank in the top. It still gives you, that ability to actually, earn the top prize with actually not having to, spend a ton of coin or actually, be the top, say, percentile of this. Even if you're a lower dog or anything, you can still actually win a, top prize out of this arena. But the arena last time was actually pretty good. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of trouble out of it. It was went pretty smooth. Kickstarter actually finally worked pretty much the bugs out of it. I think a lot of the bugs out of the arena, and especially actually getting it to run smoother. And, it just depends on what kind of fleet you want to use. Last time I used Enforcer and 4 Nighthawks. And I used Enforcer is to take out anything that had thermal on it, or have my Nighthawks behind the Enforcer. Then that way anything with thermal would actually target my Enforcer. And then I'd come into the side with my around the side from behind my Nighthawks and actually take out whatever thermal hull they had. So a lot of guys would get pissed off at me because of that. Because they said, that's cheating, man. You can't you do that. I was like, hey, ain't nothing in the rule books about that. I've also seen a buddy Paintrine. He had a video last time of him doing the arena. He actually run the Grimshine Berserker in front of his Nighthawks. And he just target pretty much anything that had thermal or sonar on it and take it first. Then he would, start taking a pound of the Grimshine and actually trigger the overload effect. And actually, you would just get a ton of torpedoes released in the water, which is actually pretty cool. You get a whole swarm of torpedoes released through the water and actually just start hitting whatever it was, and they were dead in no time. It was actually pretty neat to actually see. First time I've actually seen a Grimshine or any kind of fleet actually used with Nighthawks. It was pretty neat to actually see. Yeah, and what was actually neat was you could actually, just even if you lost, you actually got points for, however much percentage. If you did 50% damage, you got 50 points. Or if you did 100% damage, you get 100% points. And, I love that because even if you did lose, you still got points out of it and you still went up in the ranks. Which I love that. And before, if you had to constantly win the match, but now it's just, you don't really have to win, you just have to do damage, which is good. And also they added the free fix a day in there. So you get 1 free fix a day still. I think it didn't mention anything about that in the notes, but I'm pretty sure that's still in there as far as I know, which, you can actually risk one of your higher level fleets once a day, to get points without, costing you any uranium or anything like that, which, is awesome, which I wish they'd actually use that uranium repair system and 1 free fix a day over into the game, other areas of the game, but Kickstarter just got it right now just to the arena, which is one of the things I guess we could always add to the wish list. Things we as players we always wish would be added into the game. But yeah, let's see. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the day, guys. But let me see if anybody's in chat got questions. Nope, nobody's over there. All right, well, let's see. All right, also just to let you guys know, I do have our website up and running. if you guys would check out our website, and I've got the link on our page, and I'm still working on a couple of areas of the site, so be patient with me, guys. There's a lot of work to do and try to keep up with our other pages. And thank you guys for watching. This is Soldier of Mayhem signing out. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.